For years I hunted ghosts, and I obtained some crazy freaking clips. Turn the light back off.
Clever.
What the hell? Yeah, we've had that happen before back at Poinsett Bridge.
You bet.
Oh.
You have got to be kidding me. What are you trying to say?
Death.
Say death?
Unholy.
Unholy.
Uh-huh. Yeah, no, I'm not going to stay in that room.
Trey, I hunted ghosts because I wanted to prove their existence. How many evangelical Christians do you know of that say ghosts are demons? It got on my nerves. I'm a Christian. I believe in ghosts. You know why I believe in ghosts? It's because the Bible supports the idea. You know what the Bible doesn't say, though? That ghosts are demons. So where did this idea come from? Well, in this video, we're going to talk about it. What is going on, everybody? This is Israel, also known as Izzy-centric on social media, and today we are going to be talking about ghosts. It was the highest voted video on my Facebook page anyway, which Facebook is having a... Hey, stop it. It was the highest voted video on my Facebook page as far as what to film next, and so I decided to write up a script and go over some notes, and so we're going to talk about it. By the way, between Facebook and Instagram, please follow me on Instagram if you're going to follow me anywhere, because Facebook is still mad at me. They stopped my monetization and everything. So hit the like button on this video, subscribe to this channel. We are still trying to build a schedule for this. I changed shifts again at my job, so from here on out, hopefully we can start building something of a schedule. I have shirts out, hoodies, backpacks. I'm going to throw a bunch of images up, all 20% off. Please check out my store. I'm going to leave it in the description below, izzycentric.com. It is known as Izzy's Merch or Izzy-centric's merch store. I haven't really come up with a full name yet. I'm still trying to figure it out. Anyway, here we go. The most common objection to ghosts is that the dead are not even awake and that they're asleep. And that's kind of a weird one because we have the ability to talk to the dead. And the reason we know this is because God tells us not to talk to the dead. Or at least he tells the Israelites not to in Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 11. Or cast spells, or who is a medium or a spiritist, or who consults the dead. This is the one that finally got me here so I would stop ghost hunting. And in the words of my favorite Hebrew scholar,
prohibitions are not in the Old Testament for things you can't do.
Thank you, Michael Heiser. There's going to be at least one person that runs into my comment section and then starts yelling objection at me, and it's going to be because they're going to throw Ecclesiastes 9:5 at me. This is a common one when it talks about the dead, when we talk about ghosts, and that is the dead know nothing. But if you're going to quote this verse, it's best if we put it back into its original context. We're going to read together the verse before it and after it, just so we're all on the same page. So, Ecclesiastes 9:4. Should I move it closer this way? I don't know. Anyone who is among the living has hope. Even a live dog is better off than a dead lion. Ecclesiastes 9:5, the verse that is in question, the one we're talking about. The one that I'm mentioning right now that I know I'm going to expect. It reads, "For the living know that they will die, but the dead know nothing. They have no further reward, and even their name is forgotten." And Ecclesiastes 9:6 says this, "Their love, their hate, and their jealousy have long since vanished. Never again will they have a part in anything that happens under the sun." Look, the dead don't belong on the earth. They belong in the grave, or Sheol, Hades, whatever you want to call it. These verses, when put in their original context, show that it's not that the dead know nothing about anything. They don't know about the land of the living, more or less. And I can prove that they actually know something about their world because the Bible talks about it a little bit, because they are active in their world according to Scripture. Check out this little creepy snippet from Isaiah 14. This is Isaiah chapter 14, verses 9 through 11. Bear with me here. This is eerie. "The realm of the dead below is all astir to meet you at your coming. It rouses the spirits of the departed to greet you. All those who are leaders in the world. It makes them rise from their thrones. All those who were kings over the nations. They will all respond. They will say to you, "You also have become weak as we are. You have become like us. All your pomp has been brought down to the grave, along with the noise of your harps. Maggots are spread out beneath you and worms cover you." The dead can't welcome the other dead if they're asleep. Likewise, Jesus couldn't preach to the dead if they were asleep, unless you want to call him a boring preacher. I won't do that. I've covered this in my harrowing video, but 1 Peter 4:6 says that Jesus preached to the dead. He preached the gospel to the dead. And so for the dead to hear, they would have to be awake. Now, these are examples of the dead being awake and not asleep. So with that being said, now that we've established that, what about ghosts? Because if the dead's in their world, they would have to be in our world in order for them to be considered a ghost. Do we have any examples of this? Well, as a matter of fact, we do. If we look at the book of Matthew, it actually goes over it. And this is a verse that no one seems to want to talk about, and it's really strange because it proves that for at least 2,000 years, people believed in ghosts. And probably before that because they got it from somewhere. Matthew 14:26. When the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. "It's a ghost," they said, and cried out in fear. You know, honestly, I probably should have led with this verse for this video, but that's okay. A couple of things we should note here. The disciples learned this from somewhere. They didn't just make this up. And it should be also noted that Jesus doesn't correct them either. He tells them to not be afraid, but he doesn't tell them that there are no ghosts. It also proves that the idea of ghosts is not foreign. So we believe in ghosts 2,000 years ago. Obviously, some Israelites believed in ghosts. I'm surprised this verse gets overlooked the way it does, because the disciples were also scared of this supposed ghost. Well, they've already witnessed demons being casted out of people by Jesus Christ. So ghosts creep them out then, they creep us out now. I mean, obviously, ghosts have a track record of crawling under people's skin. So let's go ahead and recap what we got so far. The dead are awake and not asleep. 2. The dead know nothing about the land of the living. 3. The dead can't take part in the land of the living, at least according to Ecclesiastes 9:6. And 4. The idea of ghosts goes back at least 2,000 years, and probably longer than that, as we're going to find out. So if we look at the Witch of Endor in 1 Samuel 28, you're going to notice that 1 Samuel 28 continues to refer to Samuel as Samuel. And it never stops. Go ahead, take a look. It's going to continue referring to Samuel as Samuel. It does not allude to him being a demon. That is a ghost, plain and simple. Hey guys, so I wanted to add to that point. In 1 Samuel 28:15, Samuel says to Saul, "Why have you disturbed me by bringing me up?" And that's a really important distinction because it actually shows that the spell worked. Yes, God allowed it to work, but it still worked. Let me put it this way. In verse 11 it says, "Then the woman said, 'Whom shall I bring up for you?' And Saul said, 'Bring up Samuel for me.' Immediately the woman sees Samuel. According to verse 12, when she saw Samuel, she cried out and said, 'You deceive me.'" She didn't ask Samuel's last name. She didn't ask any additional questions. All Saul had to do was say, "Bring up Samuel," and that was it. Suddenly Samuel comes up, leading me to believe that for this spell to work, it requires the intent of the other person. The spell, it worked. Now, obviously, it's more nuanced than that, but I just wanted to bring this point to you guys that Samuel absolutely believed that Saul conjured him up. Not to mention Samuel starts to prophesy later. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Back to the video. So what if I showed you in the Gospels that there was another ghost? And not the one that the disciples thought they saw, but an actual ghost. Well, the Transfiguration in Matthew chapter 17 does actually show at least one ghost. Both Moses and Elijah show up with Jesus on this mountain. Although Elijah didn't die, he went straight up into heaven. Moses did die, and seeing as the harrowing didn't happen yet, it would mean that Moses was in Sheol, not heaven. Not like Elijah. The only way you're going to get into heaven in the Old Testament is by rapturing, like Enoch or Elijah. So that's two examples of ghosts in scripture right there, which is honestly, it's all we need. And I can tell you from personal experience, all the spirits I bumped into, they were malevolent. They weren't nice. They weren't good. I would consider ghosts as something of an anomaly. By God's providence, by his hand, dead can come from the afterlife and present themselves. It only happens 2 times in the Bible, And from what I've gathered and what other ghost hunters have gathered, what we tend to bump into are not ghosts, they're demons. If I were to guess the demon to ghost ratio, I would say it's probably like, what, 10 to 1? Something like that, I don't know. But there are going to be videos that I do in the future where I react to ghost hunting clips. I would love for you guys to check them out. In the meantime, you could check out this one that I did some time ago where I'm looking over a little bit of UFO footage, ghost hunting footage, animals reacting to ghosts. If you guys would like to see more of that, I plan on live streaming it in the future once we hit 1,000 subscribers. Which reminds me, please hit the subscriber button for this channel. We are growing a little bit every day, and that is awesome. I need to get more content here so that you guys have new stuff to watch. Merch link in bio. Please follow me on Facebook and Instagram, but if you're gonna choose one, probably lean into Instagram. We're almost at 1,000 followers on Instagram, which is pretty awesome. I guess we're gonna get going. I guess that's it. That's all my notes. So, I will see you on the next video. Take care. God bless.